What's up, everybody? This is the ReAct man here, and today I miss Halo. I haven't made a Halo video in some time. Whenever I go too long without making Halo content, something in me is not set right. Now, the last Halo Infinite HCS event is happening this month in Seattle. It's going to be the biggest one from what I've heard, kind of like a last hurrah before we see what the future of Halo is going to be. And it's a time of mixed emotions if you're a fan of this franchise. And what better video to appear on my feed than Halo fans need to move on already, in quotation marks. So this is a video by a guy named Wheezy, and I have no idea what to expect from this, but I asked him for permission to react to the video. He has given his blessing. And the reason why I'm doing this one is because I feel like the whole Halo story has been well documented and cataloged. I mean, how many videos have I made about, how 343 lost its Halo's magic, how Halo declined, or whatever. Like, that whole story I feel like has, not that it's been done to death necessarily, but so many people have talked about it and made content on it. Whereas this one is addressing something that, I don't really hear about often. The idea that we just need to move on already. So I'm very interested to hear what Wheezy has to say. You can watch, of course, the full video using the link in the description and pinned comment, and go ahead and subscribe to his channel. Unless this video sucks. I don't think it will. Okay, what he does say here in this pinned comment is that the video was re-uploaded because YouTube effectively killed this video around the original time of release. Okay, so this was posted 2 years ago. What do you got for us, Wheezy?
Warning, I've detected multiple Covenant dropships on approach. I recommend moving into those hills.
Video gamers across the country are
I like that.
awaiting the midnight release of a game called Halo 2.
45 minutes and counting for Halo 2 to go on sale.
Everyone here tonight will join Halo fans all over the world to make the launch of Halo 3 the biggest day in entertainment history.
I really like this editing style. Establishing a timeline, setting the stage. It's looking good so far. Also, the Halo Reach midnight release is really not talked about all that much in comparison to like Halo 2 or 3, I feel like.
As it is right now, it needs a lot of work. Halo 4 is the worst Halo of all time.
That's Ren's Reviews. That's Ren's Reviews sighting right there. I recognize that voice. That's a good video, by the way. Ren did some videos on Halo 4. Okay, yeah, that was good.
We had an entire franchise with established enemies and weapons and an established art style, and 343 just undid all of it.
Halo Infinite is dead. It is a shell of a game that it could have been.
And now where are we? Better times, look at that.
Halo has been in a weird state. For how long it's been, it's gone through the absolute best times a game can experience, but also the very worst that anyone could ever witness. To see something so high fall so terribly hard, you must realize there's going to be people that will stick by what they loved until the very end. A game like Halo earned a person's loyalty through what can be some of life's simplest joys.
That is a fantastic point. Speaking of brand loyalty, by the way, all that Xbox Game Pass stuff is going on. You know, I'm making a video on that for the main channel, but it's essentially going to boil down to, with Xbox raising the price on Game Pass to $30 a month, they've essentially they've slaughtered their last sacred cow. That thing that you could always rely on to be there. Game Pass was the last shrine that was undefiled. And for a long time, Halo was the killer app. It was a sacred cow for Xbox. But of course, that cow has been mercilessly slaughtered. They're trying to breed a new one, so we'll see what happens. But that's a really good point about earning loyalty, which does kind of sound silly in terms of like, I'm gonna consume this game forever, I'm the best consumer. But it just goes to show you how powerful those experiences were. I mean, the fact that we're still talking about Halo Combat Evolved almost 24 years later, still talking about it. That's how good those memories are. Yeah.
Look at that. Good job, Dad.
They carved out permanent memories with friends and family. allowed bonds to be made in places that weren't possible before. It told a historical story. And I'm not talking about the campaign. I'm talking about the Halo story. The impact it had on society and what it did for people.
See what I was talking about at the start of the video? I feel like that all of that has been so well cataloged and like talked about ad nauseum that at some points you kind of feel like, what is there left to say, really? At least in terms of a content creator, but I see where he's going. I'll shut up and let him talk.
During its peak, I'd argue it's one of the best investments you could have made because of the value you could gain from it. What I see a lot of nowadays is the split communities consisting of either diehard Halo fans or the newer ones that are all for moving on. And since the moving on to newer titles and content hasn't been going so well, I think it's fair to ask, why do lots of Halo fans hang on dearly to the past?
Ooh, that's a good question. I feel like this video deserves way more views. I'm half considering just like ending the reaction video here and just saying, all right, now time to go watch the real thing yourself. Why do lots of Halo fans hang on dearly to the past? There's a lot of answers to that. Number one, obviously the games were really fucking good, and there's some things you always want to be able to look forward to and enjoy, right? Again, the thing about Halo and Xbox was because of the consistent schedule of releasing something every 3 years, you always had something to look forward to. That idea that you had something to look forward to gave more value to the Xbox brand, right? Think about this, like, let's say you're working 40 hours a week for the next 8 months or something, right? But you know what you do? You plan out a 2-week vacation to Hawaii or your dream destination. Even though that's not gonna happen for 8 months, the fact that you have something to look forward to remind yourself, like, I'm not just slaving away, right? Halo was always something you could rely on. Like I said, that sacred cow. And I think the reason people hold on to it, obviously, is because it was so good, and it's, in some ways it's fallen so far, but in other ways it still provides, you know, some of what made it so great in the first place. I feel like just this question alone, yeah, I could make my own whole video on it. To bring up another point, the idea that newer Halo fans and older Halo fans are sort of at odds with each other, like that has always kind of been a thing with Bungie games. Obviously it wasn't as prevalent because between Bungie and 343, two separate companies, two radically different styles, but you know, even going back to, I mean, if you go back to forums and look at what people were saying about Halo 2, like people did not like the idea of playing as Arbiter. You know, the Halo cycle meme image is real and true. Great use of music and transitions and spacing, right? You see, he's telling a story here, and I like that. I like when videos do that. It's not just like a constant barrage of information. He's you know, sometimes you got to stick something in a microwave for 5 minutes, not just 30 seconds.
Oh, you killed me, didn't you, Dan? You son of a bitch!
Rediscovering the sentiment.
Shit, no!
I just realized why Halo fans can't move on from the past. Because if we stop talking about how great the Bungie Halo games were, all the fun memories, if I ever stop making videos like this, then those memories do kind of die, right? And even if it just means another 5 years of the occasional nostalgia bait, remember Halo type video, like the dream stays alive, you know what I mean? At least that's kind of the way I look at things. Some people move on very fast, and you know, good memories bring you comfort.
For a lot of us, it felt like everyone was playing Halo. At the very least, everyone at least knew of it with how much of a name it was making for itself in the media and with their marketing. But facing facts is realizing most gamers nowadays haven't even touched Halo, or really know what it could possibly mean to someone like me. What is now mostly nostalgia that holds our most treasured memories in the franchise will most likely never be more than just that. That's something you can't really force onto the newer generation or get through to people's heads no matter how hard you try. Because
that's the thing, when whenever I revisit some like old game that I never played in my childhood and I don't really have a nostalgic connection to, kind of like when I did a video on Battlefield 4, it was like you get a taste of why this thing was so awesome for people, but you never get the full dish. Food references in video games, honestly, I kind of hate making them, but I feel like they ring true quite a bit, or they at least paint the picture, right? So someone who never played Halo, like back when it came out, as each game came out, you only sort of get a taste of what it was really like, because you'll never be able to replicate the time. Kind of like how Call of Duty is never gonna bring back custom emblems, for obvious reasons. That was only there was a time and a place for it, and if you missed it, you just missed it.
It's an emotional connection that you truly just have to be there for to share it with someone else. But if it's something for the past, and for people that are just getting older and older, why do longtime fans have to keep talking about it and trying to bring back those glory days? Why can't we just let it be?
Because I'm a YouTuber and I make YouTube videos. I guess the real answer is that I care. You know, I still care. I mean, part of me has like kind of moved on. You know, I've said what I wanted to say about a lot of the Halo games, or pretty much all of them. I mean, there's always more stuff to talk about, right? I've never done a video on all the best Halo mods. I've done maybe one or two, but there's more stuff.
My reason for being so vocal is because the franchise decided to keep going. And with that, I'd keep going.
Bro, preach. Someone hand this man an aux cord and a microphone. Preach, brother. This guy is not wheezing. He's spitting.
Yeah, you ain't killing me. You ain't killing me. Shit. Fuck you. Throw a nade. Oh my god, he's throwing that!
This is what Halo looks like to me. This is what it's supposed to be all about.
Oh my god, those are my legs! Oh my god, yes!
People coming together, making some of the really bad days feel just a little less bad. Everyone has their stories with this franchise, what it's done for them, and the impact that has been left with them and leading them to videos like this. This is what I believe to be around the best times in gaming. But what does it matter anymore?
Provocative question.
When the producers come over and pry our hands from the keyboard and say, okay, you can't touch it anymore, we've got to start manufacturing these discs, I think that's the point where we're going to have to stop, and that's going to be the end of it.
People are like, God damn, like it's so cool to fight the hunter, except then this grunt guy came over, and wouldn't it be cool like if you could jump up on the hunter's back and do this or that, or you know, whatever, and you're like, let's go do it.
Every day I see something brand new that it blows me away. I'm like, gosh, how did you guys do that? It's really neat stuff. It excites me, makes me do better work, makes all these other guys do better work. They're really excited about it.
The best part of working Halo 1 was at the end when the game was done. Yeah.
By the way, another video idea I had, this would be like main channel stuff, but the lost culture of Bungie, because I'll just make a quick comment about this, but these old Vidoc clips speak to something that I noticed when I rewatched some of these old Vidocs, and that was Bungie's workforce was always like ripping on each other's work and trying to outdo each other, like Marcus Lato just said. And I feel like this type of culture, especially when they're talking about Halo 2's development and they're like, oh yeah, this was a fucking disaster. We had to redo the whole entire thing. Yeah, it was a dumpster fire, crashing and burning. Worst time of my life.
Because right now, the game is not fun.
You don't hear the people that work on games nowadays talk like that. Even if it's about a product that came out years ago. It's always, oh, this is the best Call of Duty game.
And Black Ops 7 gives us the opportunity to take valuable player feedback and infuse it directly into our development to make this the best Black Ops experience.
It's the greatest, it's always the best. Every year it's always the best. And you know, that's sort of like fake positivity. I love the realism behind game development that was presented in these old Vidocs by Bungie. And I feel like this type of culture is now relegated to indie developers. Side note, just a complete side note, but this video is so good, I could just keep yapping.
You come in and play the game, and you know, that's your work. You come in and you actually beta test the game. And I'll just tell him that I can't wait to do that. I can't wait to see all the work that we've done. put it in the game and play it at the end of the game. It's gonna be awesome.
When I look into the documentary footage involving the process of making Halo, it really kind of inspires me and makes me want to be a part of that team. It's a group of people having fun in what they do, and fully believing in delivering a satisfying experience for us on all ends. How are they giving us a fully fledged campaign with 4-player co-op?
I believe you, Joe.
So today,
A stack full of multiplayer modes, a creative outlet to make whatever you wanted in Forge, a theater mode to store our most prized clips, and considerably one of the best gaming soundtracks of all time in one game in 2007.
Yeah, those old Vidocs and documentaries were really, I would say, cutting edge in terms of, like, Bungie was the first game developer that I, as a kid or as a gamer, could like put a face to and look at the people and be like, those are the guys that make Halo. What do they have to? How did they make this? You know, it's kind of like when you really love a movie and you watch the special features on the second disc or whatever. You watch the extra content and then you really understand the creative process behind it. And yeah, that's why that video idea, the lost culture of Bungie, be something pretty cool to examine.
What game even brings all that on day one anymore? Looking at the environment of the original makers of Halo and comparing it to the group nowadays, they just look like they're in two totally different worlds. Two totally different games with now two totally different fan bases.
Yep.
I just want the actor to blow through the page and give me exactly what I want. I want the actor to go through the page, give me what I want, be inspired, and then launch off into some crazy realm.
Hello, I am 343 Guilty Spark. I am the monitor.
Also, listen to the way Joe described that experience of directing the voice actors. Launch off into some crazy realm. And you think about voice actors because what they look at concept art, the game's not finished, they've got the story mapped out. I don't, you know, it's like everybody there really knew what the fuck they were doing, and the way he described that, you know, it's like it evokes something.
Installation 04.
This will save me from the storm, but you will be consumed. The universe is full of cold, hard facts, and this is one of them.
Chief, we've got a problem.
I have come to kill you.
My eyes! Oh my! Where am I being taken?
The past does matter, and the years that Bungie was responsible for Halo, it left a mark on players, like a really big one. It brought us some of the biggest fans. It established foundations and brewed a successful formula. I will talk about the past highly because we failed somewhere along the way. At some point, Halo stopped being itself, and that gives reason to fans like me to voice our very vocal opinions. One example is the changing experience of our campaigns.
Ooh, getting spicy. Yeah, that was kind of my philosophy. Like, you think about when I was doing Halo 5 content and MCC, and dude, it's fucking crazy. Over the course of my YouTube career, Halo 5, Halo Wars 2, Infinite. That's crazy to think about. As long as Halo isn't even close to the standards of its predecessors, it's worth talking about and being like, yo, this, like, I'm a consumer. This is what I want. Forge on day one. Yes, please.
I'm dead. I'm dead.
I will never forget the times of staying up entire nights just to play through the Halo campaigns with friends. Forgetting about multiplayer for right now, the campaign experience was more than just a story. It was its own arena of fun, regardless of it being a linear experience. You'd usually have your buddies on the couch next to you or some online pals. This was a time when story modes, co-op, and the gameplay itself was all still being a high priority.
Exactly, and within the story of a Halo campaign, there is the story of you and your buddies and the time you played it, right? I mean, this is true for other games. Me and one of my closest buddies, we used to have sleepovers where we'd play RuneScape or Gauntlet Dark Legacy or Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance or Halo or Mario Party or all these games, and all those experiences have their own story within them, which is really powerful stuff. See, it's not just about your memories of the game, but the people you played it with too.
But even though we get a story that is serious and is quite impactful to the player, it isn't afraid to sacrifice some of that to create a fun experience while you learn more about what's going on. Think about it. Let's compare a Halo 2 campaign to a Halo 4 campaign.
Ooh, okay. Not to interrupt. Well, I am interrupting. But I think what he's going for is, yeah, like the 343 campaigns take themselves a little too seriously, whereas the Bungie games managed to mix in comic relief with seriousness in a way that could alleviate the tension.
There were 2 campaigns with a story that were generally pretty well accepted. So where do the differences between the 2 come in? How about these guys?
Sir, I know you saw me standing here.
Well, at least I can always shoot myself.
Ow, sir! Ain't nothing we... Ah! Is this your way of extending the game?
What the fuck? I've never heard that one before. Yeah, true. What the? Yeah, dude, that's crazy. I've never heard that line in Halo 2 before. Yeah, getting rid of the Marines was a crazy bad mistake.
No regrets, boy. I know you have feelings for me, but we need to work this out at some other time.
Hey, I'm wearing your mom's bra.
When taking a step back and looking at the idea of having whimsical NPCs, you might think that it would hardly affect the experience. But remember, this is more than just a story experience. This is where a game becomes better than a movie or a book. Not only are we getting hand-fed cutscenes and subtle details about what's going on in our universe, but we're playing a game at the end of the day. It has to be fun and have its own charm.
Yeah, and think about, like, on this mission Delta Halo, or I think this is Regret, but on the mission Delta Halo, like, let's say you go up to that cliffside and you're supposed to have Marines on the Warthog with you, and they'll have a little dialogue banter. Dear Sarge, kicking ass in outer space, wish you were here. There was like almost like these little mini moments that could be missed, or bits of secret dialogue that could only appear sometimes, and so it added sort of like little mini vignettes to each campaign playthrough.
And one of the things that fills the world a lot is the characters.
And also just the whole idea of giving them weapons and, you know, setting yourself up for success. This, I feel, was always the next direction a Halo campaign should have taken, to not only to bridge the gap between Halo Wars and Halo, but to really make it feel like more military, strategic, like, yeah, you are a super soldier badass. Oh, you know, you got this group of Covenant elites and grunts, and maybe you can give them some basic commands. And they tried that with the Spartans in Halo 5, but it just didn't work that way. Yeah.
Oh, you've got issue with me performance. Prefer we have rational adult conversation.
I want to see my Marines shooting dead bodies.
Does this mean I have to stop making fun of you? I ran out of grenades and accidentally threw my lunch.
And I want to hear them say something absolutely absurd here and there.
Now roll over, I want to make this even. And seriously, better luck next time.
Not when we get in a campaign like Halo 4 where they're all kind of generic and have nothing unique about them.
Yeah, and what were they thinking with those armor designs?
Stand near the crates, but don't ever move them.
Right. Right. But if anybody even looks at the crates, that's a violation.
Oh yeah.
It's not just the NPCs, it's everything else, like an established art style, an established music theme. Halo Infinite definitely returned a lot of this closer to this form, but it's still far from getting that charm back. I just miss being able to do Halo things with buddies. I only ever feel inclined to play for the story, rather than to enjoy the campaign experience with a friend or two.
Which is always harder, of course, when the game doesn't launch with campaign co-op, but, you know, we've gone down that road enough times.
They have a Crayola crayon that is called that.
Yeah, I know. And then I eat it before, and then I put the crayon in my mouth and they take me to the doctor.
During such a pivotal time in all of gaming, there was a connection being developed. Gamers weren't just pressing buttons and completing objectives anymore. No matter how satisfying the gameplay was, no matter how compelling the art style was, no matter how iconic the weapons were, none of that would have ever gained the same fame without the social connections being made. Imagine no one talking.
The horror of people not being called slurs in a gaming lobby. It's, oh man, it's unthinkable, really, unthinkable. No, but honestly, like, again, just what you should be picking up from this video is kind of what I've talked about in the past, which is the importance of social features. And the idea that Halo is essentially a party game. That's what it was envisioned as. At its core, it was a party game, first-person shooter for consoles. And you would have all these different mini games, types of games, matches, modes, all sorts of stuff. That's what Halo was. It was all of these social experiences you could have in like the world of gaming, all wrapped into one package.
No one messaging. No theater mode, no split screen, no one raging, and especially no one laughing. Imagine it was only you playing, rarely any opportunities to meet anyone, the highest moments in the game with no one reacting to it. It suddenly becomes dull, and after a bit of time, it doesn't matter how well the game looks or plays. It will die so very quickly and never give reason for people to become so heavily attached to something that will eventually be of the past. But in those that experienced it, it will always continue to make an impact, continue to influence other creations, and in some way, always live on.
And one thing that can be said about 343 and Halo Studios is that they have at least kept MCC, like, they fixed it. They really fixed it, and they've gone above and beyond, I think, from what we all thought the game should have been at release to what it actually ended up becoming. And although it did take far too long to achieve, like, the saying better late than never, I think, rings true. For all their faults, like, MCC is a beacon where all of these old experiences and these social experiences can totally be recreated, replayed, and found again. Of course, it's not as easy as it was back in the day when Halo 3 or Reach were massively populated, but you know, you find a Discord server, shit, man, you could join my Discord server. Join the Act Clan, or, you know, you could support me on Patreon for as little as $1 a month. You'll get access to my private Discord server. We're actually planning a Halo custom game night on MCC. It's a good time. It's a good time. Sorry. That's kind of why I have that secondary private server, is to make it easier to re-experience all these awesome games.
This is what I think gives the biggest reason for Halo fans to have such a distaste for a game like Halo Infinite. In reality, a lot of what we loved is there. We have the art style and music theme back, some iconic weapons and even their style back, some classic maps in rotation, and a campaign with a little more charm in the NPCs and a decent story. While some of those aspects have its flaws and may never be as good as the older Halos, it still at some point has received some sort of praise from fans.
Yes.
But yet, the game gets hated on.
At the very least, the campaign was a decent effort, right? At the very least, that's what I would say about it.
Newer and older fans are beefing and don't understand where each other is coming from. And as of right now, we still haven't fully answered on why fans cling to the past.
Such a great question. Great video. Remember Reach, ending with the last one.
Remember Reach? Do you honestly remember the controversy behind this game? Sprint completely changing the flow of the game? Other new Spartan abilities ruining the experience from what we had in the original trilogy? A more washed out look compared to Halo 3? The last Bungie game. Yet maybe Bungie wasn't making this the perfect send-off after all. There is much controversy, and honestly, I think it compares a lot to the way Infinite was received with its gameplay and mechanics. And maybe that's a little hard to see or understand.
I totally get what he's saying. No, it's not totally hard, because in some ways, Halo Reach did feel less social than 3 and 2. I'm not sure exactly why. This is just going based off of memory and feeling, but although there were obviously more social features and fleshed out stuff, maybe by the time we were getting to the third sort of Halo experience like this, a bit of the novelty had worn off for me. Not saying it was bad, but yeah, maybe combined with Armor Lock and Sprint and how a lot of things were a little too different from 3. Yeah, there was certainly a dip, but looking back, obviously Reach is still a fucking masterpiece all around.
Because at the end of the day, Reach is highly praised and cherished. Despite all those opposing opinions from the fans of Halo 3, the game is memorable and seen in a very good light. The biggest difference maker between Reach and Infinite in my eyes is that social interaction. Forgetting about the flaws of Halo Reach, the one part where it didn't make a mistake was that social experience. That was still all upkept and crucial with instilling a good reflection when looking back at that game.
Also, so that whole little rant I had, that was just my personal anecdote. But also something to think about is, even if I was less social with other people in Halo Reach, like in the game, I compensated for that because I would always watch like Rooster Teeth's Achievement Hunter series, or they would do that like Red versus Blue, like Halo Reach custom games. And I fucking loved those videos, and even if I couldn't get enough people to play some of these custom games, like I could vicariously experience those that social aspect of it. I think that's what happened. Like in high school, like we all got a little too busy. Some people went to Black Ops. You couldn't always get people on Reach, but yeah, the social aspects of Reach certainly thrived.
Many memories were made and shared with the gaming world, and in the moment, you enjoyed yourself, and you knew if a moment was going to be one for the memory books. This may be different for you, but I look at Infinite and don't have many moments from it.
Again, another part of that is Forge not coming out on release, and you know, because a lot of the best Halo clips from multiplayer are in like custom games, you know what I mean? It's from some goofy ass map someone made, and something goofy happens on that goofy ass map.
Everything I've done has already faded away since first playing 2 years ago. It just felt like a game with a good story and decent gameplay. It felt like after watching the E3 trailers that there was a chance to make something iconic once again, and for people to have flooding memories in the years to come after launch. But in the fun moments I do get from Halo Infinite, it still feels empty. I don't feel close enough to the game to be compelled to play it in my free time. Reach, flaws and all, and me even having a disliking for the direction they went in from Halo 3, I still loved. And I thank that to the people of the game and being given the opportunity to be highly social in such an experience. I think we really underrate the power of socializing in video games.
Preach, Mr. Weeze, preach. We do. And it's something they've been trying to get rid of because they don't see like the tangible, they don't see the shareholder value go up because of a Forge mode or whatever. I don't know what stupid fucking reason they, like, people think, or these game developers and publishers don't think social features matter anymore. Maybe because everything's so disconnected now, but like it's still important. Like, people are social creatures. You can't just live by yourself alone, not talk to anybody. You'll go insane.
I don't think many people will ever remember Infinite in the same way they remember Reach, because of the social capabilities alone.
Yes, and again, don't want to interrupt too much more, but it's all because a lot of that shit was not there at release, and it took far too long. An amusement park needs rides, and if you go to the amusement park and like 3/4 of them are still under construction, yeah, you can ride like maybe 4, 5, 6 high quality rides, but where's the other 20?
Yeah, I'm keeping it to
Then you're not dumbing your fucking
Oh boy, bad word.
So why do Halo fans cling on to the past? I think the simplest answer in all of this is that we built something back there in that period of time, a very strong-willed community, and many nostalgic memories that we just want to see the opportunity for that to come again in such an experience.
Yes! That's why I had so much copium for Halo Infinite back in the day. Like, before it came out and with the trailers, like, you guys will remember, I was hopeful. I was, you know, I was like, it's back to the positive Halo content. Like, fuck it. Like, yeah, if all they gotta do is this, this, and this, make sure you get this. Don't neglect this. Remember, this is important. And bang, bang, boom, we'll be back in action. We'll be back in town. And yes, I wanted that. I wanted this again. And Infinite felt like the best shot at it.
Used to be made to be a fun game, just as I believe it is today, but then to make it truly fulfilling, they needed one core ingredient that fueled everything the game stood behind.
Yes.
And that was the social presence. And I don't think that's lacking in just Halo. I think that's lacking in all of gaming. I think socialness is a lost art and hard to find nowadays in video games.
Absolutely. And if Halo Infinite if it launched with like multiplayer as it was, but custom games, Forge, and all that shit was in full functioning working order, it'd be a much different story. You know what I mean? Like, you'd have people doing the custom games, and that would have softened the blow of the lackluster multiplayer offering, at least for a time.
And Halo was known to be one of the best at it, focusing so much effort onto that social experience. I believe that's what made it so fun when paired with the gameplay, but also what made players like me, and most likely you, get back onto that game every single day that you could. So while Halo has many things to define its charm, I think the biggest void is that huge empty feeling, making an online game like Halo feel so lifeless.
Yes. Absolutely. Well, that was great. That was great, Wheezy. Yeah, that was great. Thank you, Wheezy. So, mixed feelings right now, because at the same time that we understand why Halo was special and how important all the social features were, the trick is, like, will anybody in a position of leadership at Microsoft and Xbox, will they ever understand that? And I think that's where the sort of like, we can't get over Halo, we can't move past it, because it seems like Microsoft and Xbox has. We'll see with the next Halo. There's that quote from Knights of the Old Republic 2 I used in a pirate software video, where if you had traveled far enough, rather than waiting for the echo to reach you, perhaps you would have seen it for what it was. And I don't think Microsoft ever really saw Halo for what it was. But we have. That's why they might let Halo's past die. They might, get rid of the Bungie credits at the end of campaigns on MCC, but we won't let the past die. That's why. Weezy, let me know what you think of my analysis here. I think I'm onto something there. But yeah, that was a great, incredible video, especially in the Halo genre, where like I've watched a lot of videos, and this was something different than anything I'd seen before, which is saying something, because there's a lot of the 343 bad videos, right? I've got maybe 30 of them. Yeah, go give Wheezy a sub, go over like this video. All right, everyone, that's all I got for today. This is the Act Man, signing out. Peace!